Ever heard of the hotness ratio? Well, it's pretty much just like it sounds. It tells you how hot the market is at any given moment. And the hotness ratio we're seeing in the Austin real estate market for homes on acreage is a little different than it has been, obviously because of the shifting market. But let's take a look at where we stand. Hopefully, a little bit of an idea of where we're going. Now, I mentioned the hotness ratio to start with, so we're going to begin with that. The hotness ratio for homes on an acre or more in the Austin real estate market is 38.4%. How do you know if that's good or bad? Well, fortunately, I'm going to share with you what is happening. The hotness ratio in the last 18 to 20 months in this incredibly frenzied market was typically way over 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%, because the hotness ratio simply compares the homes that are under contract with the homes that are currently on the market. That tells you what the competition is doing. That tells you how often active homes are going under contract. So right now, about 38.4% is really a very modest, not very impressive hotness ratio at all. That means it's not quite 3 to 1, but there are 2.5 to 3 times as many homes on the market as there are under contract. Let's look at something else. One more stat that's going to be a little surprising probably is inventory is just shy of 4 months. I mean, we can really pretty much call it 4 months. Inventory for years has been way, way lower than that. For the last 18 to 20 months, truly, I mean a few weeks. But even before that, 16, 17, 18, 19, we were seeing, a couple of months worth of inventory. We've all of a sudden popped up. Now, this isn't a normal market yet. A normal market is about a 6-month supply of homes. But we've jumped from a few weeks to nearly 4 months. So the difference is going to feel pretty intense. The number of homes that went on the market in August of 22 compared to 21, 20% drop for your homes went on the market. Now, we've been in an inventory crunch for quite a while. However, we're not in an inventory crunch anymore. So the fact that there were fewer listings going on the market this year than last year is actually okay because they're not selling as fast. Buyers have more choices than they did a year ago, even though there's fewer listings coming on the market. The reason that the inventory is climbing is real simply that we don't have as many pendings. You can see that's a pretty large number. We had 36% fewer homes go under market in August of 22 than we did August of 21. Now let me share something with you about August. It's really kind of a seasonal month in real estate. That's when school starts. When school starts, we see a lot of people back off from their home search. Doesn't last very long, but there is kind of a lull there. So that's one of the reasons that we are seeing what we see. The sales are also down pretty substantially. Obviously not quite a third, but 28, 29% less than a year ago. So we had fewer homes come to the market. We had fewer homes go into contract. We had fewer homes closed. So August of 22 was pretty much a step down from August of 21. And we're going to look at the bright side real quick. In August of 22, we still saw a price increase. The average price increased about 3.38%. Now you may think, well, that's really not very good. Well, that's actually kind of what we saw for many years. 4% really is closer to what we saw for many years, but 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, we just plodded along at around 4%, sometimes 5%. There were times when it was slightly below 4. So the 3.38, even though we're seeing negative stats in all the other areas, is really a bright spot. Now here's one that really indicates what's going on with buyers and sellers. The list to sell ratio tells you what a buyer pays compared to asking price. That was down 6% from a year ago. What does that mean? The seller pocketed 6% less just from a negotiating perspective in August of 22 compared to August of 21. Had nothing to do with values and average prices and things like that, just from a negotiating perspective. Now, what does that tell you? Well, buyers have a more viable negotiating position, a valid negotiating position where they can actually make an offer and then negotiate the price. That really wasn't something you saw a year ago in August of 21. Obviously, that's what you're seeing now. Now, with average prices so high, A 6% drop in list to sell ratio is a substantial reduction in the amount of profits that a seller is going to put in the bank at closing. The days on the market, it's in red, even though it shows to be positive, because an increase in days on market is a negative. So the days on market went up 67%. So what we're seeing in the market is that the average days on market have now exceeded 30 for closings, but they've exceeded 50 for homes on the market. So we're getting to a normal type situation. But the normal situation we're getting to is actually not bad at all. In other words, all the stats you're seeing, they look negative because we're comparing them. But across the board, they're really fairly okay. If you put your home on the market or you want to buy a house, you're in a pretty normal situation. You're not in some wildly frenzied market or some ridiculously slow market. Everything's okie doke. You don't have to overreact and go start making lowball offers at 50% of value. Sellers probably aren't going to be real receptive to that, but you can make offers and negotiate contracts like you did a few years ago. And we're going to keep a watch on this. We're going to add, as I said, some stats that we haven't been paying attention to because they didn't matter. For example, the hotness ratio and the inventory didn't really matter for the last 18 to 20 months because they were negligible and really didn't impact anything. So I think for several months, we're going to see stats that look negative, but the big picture is they're really not bad at all. And to sort of support that, you might take a look at this video. It talks about profits made in the housing market in the last 18 to 20 months. It's a good video to kind of see where you stand. Even if you didn't make it in time for the big frenzy, you still have tons of equity. Watch that video. It'll give you an idea. Hope to see you there.